some of you. This is a very special broadcast, and of course, we must pray. And prayer we must, this very evening and always going forward. And I will pray in the language of heaven, because Chukwu Kikabiama is in control of all that we have been doing and will continue to do until Biafra is restored and all the suffering indigenous populations and the damnable zoological republic are set free. Chineke na nke pụrụ ihe niile Chukwu Okike abịa banye ndefe na aja ha nsọ ya mma mgbe niile. Onye ọbụla na ya na-achị eluigwe n'ụwa na-agba akaebe ịhụnanya gị na ebere gị amara gị n'ọmịiko gị ebe ndị gị na-eze ebede ngọzi. Anyị wee na-etoghị agbanyeghị atụmatụ ọjọọ niile nke ndị iro. Iwe nye anyị ndụ n'ala nke dị ndụ n'ụbọchị nke taa. Anyị wee na-asị na ịja mma niile otu niile dịrị aha nsọ gị. Onye ọ bụ naanị aka ike niile na ọ gbadara aka ya. Anyị wee na-akpọku gị na-asị gị na nke ọma ma anyị ga-ekele gị nke ọjọọ ma anyị kelee gị. Anyị wee na-aja gị mma wee na-eto gị wee na-asọpụrụ gị n'isi ụmụ gị niile bụ ndị ikwu ndị wee ezu oku mgbe a kpọrọ ha ka ha wee chekwaa ala nsọ gị bụ Biafra onye nwe m na Chineke na ihe ndị kwuru anyị nkwa na o mekataghị ka ndị iro wee were ala nsọ Biafra onye nwe m na Chineke na nke bi n'igwe agbanyeghị atụmatụ ọjọọ niile nke ndị iro ma ndị na-agba mgbọgba ebe niile dị iche iche onye nwe m na Chineke nna ihere bụ nke ndị dị etu a n'ụbọchị nke taa. Anyị wee na-eto gị wee na-asị onye nwe anyị na Chineke nna nke pụrụ m ihe niile onye ọ bụ naanị ya na-azọpụta onye ọ bụ naanị ya bụ okwu ya niile bụ ihe na amen. Anyị wee na-asị ezi ebube dị ngọzi na ọtụtụ na ịja mma na nsọpụrụ site n'ebighị ebi ma ruo n'ebighị ebi. Ise ise ise.
Welcome, my amazing viewers. Thank you so much for joining me on my program once again. I appreciate you wherever you are joining from. If you are joining me from any part of the world, Africa, Asia, Europe, America, Australia, or Canada, I thank you very much for your contributions on the channel. Please, always subscribe each time you watch my video. Share the video also to your family and friends. Share it to your well-wishers. Share it to every platform so that people will know our plight on what we are saying. There is nothing we are preaching here than to preach love and freedom. That's what we are preaching. Unity and freedom. The unity of the southern part of Nigeria, the freedom of the people, the indigenous tribe in the country of Nigeria. It doesn't matter their tribe, their religion, wherever they be. We speak of their freedom. That is why we are here. And we are here mainly not to allow the conventional media to change the narrative. They are pushing all manner of lies from all angles and all corners. We stand against all those their lies and make sure that their lies doesn't fly. That is why we are here. While we are preaching the messages, please continue to pray along with us in the Kanu. If you have not joined the prayer, join the prayer. It is not yet late. We are going on the last section of the prayer very soon. Everything will be okay. We will smile again with our Sunnah Kanu, giving us the message directly from him. We will continue. It doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter the propaganda they are pushing out there. The spirit of Biafra has possessed them. That is why I am so happy. We don't know how blessed we are having a prayerful leader. If you know how blessed we are having a prayerful leader, you won't worry. You won't be worried. There is nothing that happens to him, I say, that is not aware. He is aware of everything that is happening. He is aware. Even the crisis that you see, something like the crisis that you're seeing outside, he is aware wherever he is. The lawyers might decide to hide it from him, but he's aware. And he's on his knees praying. That is why new soldiers are rising up. Biafrans are rising up. Every Biafra, indigenous people of Biafra, registered and unregistered, they are rising up from all corners, right, left, and center, and they are speaking on his behalf, sitting at home. And I thank God for that. I thank Chukwu Okike, who has touched the heart of Biafrans, who have heard the prayer of Asuna Kanu and made sure that we are speaking on one voice. It doesn't matter the propaganda they push. We are not here to attack our brothers and sisters. That is not what we should be doing. Attacking our brothers and sisters is not what we should be doing. What we should be doing is to fight for freedom of Biafra, which is the freedom of Asuna Kanu. Biafra is in prison as I speak to you. What are you doing to set Biafra free? If you know what you can do on your own to set Biafra free, go ahead and do it. Chukwu Okike is with you, and he must be free. The place we find ourselves, the contraction we find ourselves, who are occupying Biafra land, are not ready to make anything better. And don't expect that it will be better tomorrow. Anybody in this very contraption called Nigeria that is still talking about one Nigeria or a better Nigeria tomorrow is deceiving him or herself. This very contraption have come a long way, and there has never a time it was meant to be one nation. There has never a time the plan was to make it successful. It wasn't. Even the British that established that very company called Nigeria, the amalgamation was not made to make the people happy and make the people succeed. It was made to make sure that we continue to die and fight against ourselves. It has been constructed on lie. In lie, everything you can see in that contraption is lie. There is no single truth in everything happening in that contraption called Nigeria. No single truth. That is why when you see somebody from the southern part of Nigeria, or mainly a Biafran, calling him or herself a one Nigeria, he is nothing but a monster. And you have to stay away from such people. A Biafran mainly, who still regard him or herself as a Nigerian, still fighting for Nigeria. It doesn't matter who the person is. It doesn't matter how close you are. You have to be careful with such person, because they don't mean well for you and I. It does not mean well for you. Nigeria will never work. It was not structured to work. It doesn't matter how you try. Let me tell you, the Biafrans have tried everything possible from amalgamation to date to make sure that this very contraption becomes one as they preach. But eventually we discover that the oneness they are preaching is a oneness with our own blood. The one Nigeria they are preaching is a one Nigeria that will make us slave. The one Nigeria they are preaching is a single agenda to Fulanize Nigeria and to Islamize Nigeria. That is the only message they have. Since we have known that the one Nigeria they are talking about is Fulanization as Islamization, we are no longer part of it. That is why we want out. They have been speaking this language for a very long time, but people do not understand. But in this very regime of the late Muhammadu Buhari, it is now much clearer than ever that the only agenda and mission they have is to make sure that the contraption called Nigeria is in the hand of the Janjaweed. Each time when we hear their elite talk about modernization, starting from Ahmadu Bello, he has been speaking about modernization, that the North first, people thought it was a joke. Some thought it was just about the Igbos. It wasn't about the Igbos. In as much as they know that the Igbos are the most outspoken part of that whole country. People who cannot allow themselves to be used. They cannot allow to be put under. That is why they attack Igbos more. But today, everybody has said that the challenge is not just for the Igbos, it's for our brothers, the Yorubas, and the Middle Belters. And every other indigenous tribe. They want to destroy the whole place and take it over. And we say no to that. Thank God for the message of Asuna Mazinalikan, who has made some wonderful revelation, waking people up. Today, we are no longer saying they are coming. We have seen them come. They are here. But what are you doing to protect yourself? That is where the question lies. Our Supreme Leader Mazinalikan was not only preaching a message of telling you, prepare for what is coming. He put some guidelines, put some strategies for us to succeed and protect ourselves. So, it doesn't matter even they hold him in captivity or not. What are you doing to protect? Are you still following that strategy? Because that is the only way you can be able to be alive. Self-defense. Self-defense. Thank God the ESN are there. The ASM was established by Asuna Mazinalikan to protect the old southeastern region. And they are doing their work diligently. Those who was appointed by Janjaweed to represent you are playing the card of the Janjaweed. They cannot represent you because you didn't appoint them. The people that appointed them, handpicked them, was the Janjaweed. That is why there is no governor in the southeastern part that is going to dance your tune. They will speak for you. And the person that is speaking for you, they will do everything possible to make sure that he remains in jail so that you cannot hear from me anymore. You see the reason why you must have to participate in the sit at home? You see the reason why you must do everything at your reach to make sure that he comes out. Anybody who is telling you otherwise is deceiving you, and that person is the person you have to be afraid of. Any person that discourages you from doing something that will make a man in Nadikano free, you have to disassociate yourself from that person, because the person is seeking for a means to kill you. Our Supreme Leader Nadikano must be free. He has done a wonderful work and continues to do. Nigeria, the contraption called Nigeria is not for you and I. The contraption called Nigeria is not for you, and it's not for the Udua, it's not for the Biafra, mainly Biafrans. Nigeria is not for Biafrans. Right from origin, it's not Biafran. They brought war to us. We fought the war. They said no victor, no vanquish. We said, okay, let's try again. We decided to reintegrate ourselves, not them. They did not do the reintegration. We did the reintegration. We reintegrated ourselves, went to every place to establish business and continue our life as usual. But they never let us be. Rehabilitation, they never rehabilitate anywhere in the southeastern region. They never rehabilitated. We did rehabilitation by ourselves. We reintegrated ourselves. Reconstruction, they never construct anything. Nothing was constructed in the southeastern region. There is no federal government present in the southeastern region. And someone, a southeasterner, will still be saying that he wants to be part of Nigeria. May God have mercy on you. And if you think that this thing you are seeing is just starting today, it doesn't start today. The intelligent people we have, people who have brain, saw it. They knew that it was coming. Even before it got to this very stage, they knew, they warned, but people kept a deaf ear. I would like you to listen to Chinua Achebe, what he had to say on what is happening. During the time after the Civil War, what he had to say, the information he passed through. If you listen carefully, you can be able to get some sense and see that Nigeria is not for you and will never ever be for you. It doesn't matter what you do, it doesn't matter how you paint it, it can never be for you. And waiting for the West can never ever fight for you. You fight for yourself and set yourself free, because they have their own interest to protest, not your interest. Let us listen to Chinua Achebe, what he has to say.
In 1965, you and I met in
Lagos.
And we were talking at that time about some of the things that were causing disruption in Nigeria, in Africa as a whole. Things falling apart, as you wrote about yourself. Did you have any premonition, any thought that things would fall apart this much at that time?
No, not this much. No, nothing like this. I saw the Nigerian Federation, the possibility of its dissolution, the possibility of serious trouble, but not taking the form which it did take. When I saw the government falling, for instance, because it was hopelessly corrupt. In fact, probably by the time we were talking, the two of us, I was already working on my novel, which was my fourth novel, which handled the situation, the corrupt situation of a government and military intervention when nothing else seemed possible. But I didn't foresee anything like the massacres of eastern Nigerians and the present situation. I think, as far as I'm concerned, the honeymoon is over. The first few years of independence is full of promise, is full of excitement, and actually a lot has happened. I mean, there's nothing like running your own business. I mean, whatever anybody may say. It's better to be in charge of your business and mess it up than get somebody else to do it for you. I strongly believe in this. But at the same time, I think that one has to take a hard look. And I'm now talking as a writer, you see, and my next book is in fact intended to take a hard look at the situation, what we have made of this freedom. And there are some very sad mistakes, some very sad incidents that one must recall.
Så på det politiske plan. How did these massacres and the horrible things that happened affect you yourself and your closest family?
Oh, everybody here was affected. Practically everybody here had something that touched him.
Mm-hmm.
I lost a few relations. I had to run away from Lagos because it was not safe. Soldiers went to where I worked to look for me.
Mm.
So I still gave the thing 2 weeks to make sure whether it was just a handful of people getting out of hand. But it wasn't. It seemed like a well-planned and coordinated program, so I fled like many other people.
You lost a brother, didn't you?
Yes, in the army in Ibadan, a young fellow. He was killed.
What do you think of the reaction abroad in the outside world to the situation here in Biafra?
Well, to begin with, one was very much disappointed in the early stages at the lack of appreciation of the issues. One ran into arguments about the importance of federations, that sort of thing. And this I find extremely infuriating, that in the face of what has happened and was happening, that the argument should turn on the virtues of a federation, unity. Now it seems to me to be terribly wrong to put systems of government over the welfare of men. It seems to me that governments are designed to serve and preserve men and society. And here you had a government which not only did not serve or preserve a significant section of its citizenry, but went out of its way to join in their destruction. And still people talk about the virtues of unitary government or unity or federation. I think this is outrageous. Taking Europe as an example, the attitude seems to be, well, this is an African affair. Well, it isn't. This is a human affair. It is all right to give Africa, since this is right at its doorstep, the first option. But it's obviously failed. It's obviously failed to take any meaningful step in this. And it would have appeared to me, I would have thought, that the rest of the world would then see the problem and deal with it as a human problem. We are not only Africans, we are in the world as well. African independence is a myth. You see, there's really very little independence here. When people say, for instance, this is an African problem, let's leave it to them, they are being dishonest. When Britain says, for instance, this is an African problem, or Wilson says this is an African problem, he is being grossly dishonest, because if they thereafter left the matter to Africans, it would be another matter. But they say that in public, and then they go around and supply arms to one side in the conflict. So it's not. In fact, they're not leaving this matter to be solved by Africans, so it doesn't make sense. So the first disappointment one I got is that this independence that about which we rejoiced in the early 1960s is really quite empty. And if only Africans would see it, see that what's happening here, the bell that is tolling here is tolling for them. If they would only see it, I mean, something would have been gained out of this disaster.
Well, you are now living in a completely surrounded, or almost completely surrounded, country. What are your hopes now for Biafra in this situation?
No, my hopes have always been the same. Even when we were not, as you said, completely surrounded. But remember that even from the very beginning we were surrounded, because one of the first acts of Britain was to supply Nigeria with warships to mount a blockade against us. So it's really a matter of degree of this compression. It was there from the beginning. And my hope is that we ought to be left alone. And I wish, this is not too much to ask. I mean, to ask to be left alone. And 14 million people, for God's sake, can say, leave us alone. And that should be enough, whatever the reasons. And this is what I hope will happen, even at this late hour.
After hearing the voice of this legend, then it is left for you to take the right decision. Know the right thing to do. If you decide to sell your life, go ahead, commit suicide. Don't disturb those who want to live. Do not disturb those who want to be alive. Our Supreme Master Nnamdi Kanu must be alive for us. We will continue to protest through our sit at home until our Supreme Master Nnamdi Kanu is released. It doesn't matter what anybody say or what anybody do. We don't care. Whatever be your position, whatever be wherever you are, the only thing that will make us to trust you is when you support something that will make the janjaweed shake, something that is against the will of the janjaweed. But when you are playing on the same, dancing on the same table with the janjaweed, eating on the same table with the enemies, and you expect us to listen to you, we will not, because we know who we are following. No one else but the Supreme Master Nnamdi Kanu. May Chukwu Okike protect him wherever he is. May Chukwu Okike bring back our Supreme Master Nnamdi Kanu to us very, very soon. May Chukwu Okike give him good health, strengthen him, and bring him back to us in full force. We know that he's coming. There's no doubt. No doubt whatsoever. Some people who are working against him think that he's not going to come out any longer, that that's all over. Master Nnamdi Kanu is going to come out in full force, stronger than ever. If you don't know that, know it now. It's going to happen. It's going to surprise everybody. And it is near. It is near. So, mind what you say, mind what you do. Thank you so much for watching wherever you're watching from. And remember blessed. Bye-bye. See you again on the next video.
O Mary Wonizu Bonioya Abakare Mama Daora Bola Bori Mary Nnamdi win the war. Python that's one, Python that's two, now Python that's a three. Bola Bori Mary Nnamdi win the war. Python that's one, Python that's two, now Python that's a three. Bola Bori Mary Nnamdi bu onye du aimo o Mary Wonizu ngiro ya Abakare Mama Daora una buri Mary Nnamdi win the war. Python that's one, Python that's two, now Python that's a three. Una buri Mary Nnamdi win the war. Python that's one, Python that's two, now Python that's a three. Una buri Mary Nnamdi.